At this stage, our app is able to authorize access using the Facebook strategy that we built. However, that data doesn't go anywhere just yet. What we want is a way to store this data in a session so that it can be retrieved across various routes and on our web pages. For this purpose, Passport provides us with two methods. The first of these is called passport.serializeUser, and this is how we're going to build it. In the callback here, we'll invoke the given done method just like how we did in the verify callback, and we'll supply it with the user.id. Okay, now let me go a few steps back and let me explain what this does. The SerializeUser function is invoked when our authorization process ends. So when we run the done method in the verify callback function, auth processor in this case, Passport runs this optional SerializeUser function and passes in the user data profile. By invoking the done method inside the SerializeUser and passing in user.id, what we are doing is creating a session and we are storing only the user's ID inside this session. Now, an important point to note here is that this ID is not the profile or the user ID as returned by Facebook. This is the unique ID key that MongoDB assigns to every collection. You can see this particular key marked with an arrow in this slide. Since sessions use cookies, we don't want to store all of our data, but just a unique key, which in this case is user.id. Now, whenever a request for that data is received, Passport fetches this unique ID from the session and runs the deserializeUser method, which is written like this. Inside this function, we need to find and fetch user data from our MongoDB collection based on the unique ID that we had earlier serialized to session. So let's write a helper function which will do just that. The specific Mongoose method that we need is called findById. But what I'm going to do is wrap this method as an ES6 promisified function. So create a method called findById, which takes in an ID value, and it should return a promise where we are running the db.userModel.findById method, which takes the ID and either returns an error, in which case we'll reject the promise, or it returns the user record object, in which case we'll resolve the promise passing in the fetched record. Let's also export this function out of the helpers module like so. Now back in the auth module, we'll just run h.findById and we'll pass in the ID which Passport injects in the deserializeUser method, and using the then method, we'll get access to the user profile, which we are going to send out using the done method here like so. When this happens, this data is made available in the request stream as req.user, which will resolve to an object containing the display name and profile pic URIs as fetched from the MongoDB collection chat users. If there is an error, we'll catch it, and for now, we'll just throw it out on the console like so. This completes our sign in with Facebook process. However, our job is not yet done. Let's see what we have next.